Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都还难
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Fei Fei and joining me today is Tony Reed. Hello, Tony.
Hey, what's going on, Fei Fei? And hello to all of our listeners out there. Hopefully you're ready to take away some Chinese today, because I certainly am.
When was your last time, going to a job interview?
A job interview. I would say probably before I started working for this company.
It was a long time ago.
It was quite some time. I remember it was an in-person interview.
Yeah, that was, more than 5 years ago.
Something like that,
Yeah, most of the interviews will be in person. You need to suit up.
Before COVID.
Yeah, you need to go there and meet everybody there and talk face to face.
Right.
Yeah, but now, with the technology, more people are accepting the new form of, virtual or remote interviews. I think it's easier for people, no matter for the company or for people who are looking for a job. It's easier because you don't have to transport a long distance.
That's probably the only factor that makes it easier. You don't have to physically be on site. But I think psychologically it's still a bit taxing for people.
So you think there are downsides with this kind of remote interviews?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't have stable internet, then then it's not going to work. There's lots of studies on people when they look at themselves on computer screens that they don't feel that they look nice enough, and so there's a lot of mental wars that are going on with
which can eventually affecting the results of this interview.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hold that thought. We'll dig that later in the episode.
Okay.
But first of all, today we're of course going through some of the words, expressions for interviews, which I think will be helpful, especially for our young listeners who are thinking
out there trying to get a job.
Exactly.
And this would be remote or online interviews, right?
Yes, because I think that's the primary choice for a lot of companies when they're having their first interviews.
Okay.
Which would be more economical. And remote interviews in Chinese is 远程面试.
远程面试. Okay.
远程 meaning long distance, remote, and 面试 is interview. And first of all, as usual, we have a dialogue for this.
我刚收到一家在上海的公司发来的邮件，让我后天去面试。
恭喜，快点订机票吧，要不赶不及了。
邮件里说我可以参加远程面试，他们到时候给我发送线上会议链接。
那还挺人性化的。我之前看到一篇关于远程面试的注意事项，我等会发给你。
So the first sentence of the dialogue is 我刚收到一家在上海的公司发来的邮件，让我后天去面试。
So this is, I just got an interview from a company in Shanghai. They want me to go for an interview the day after tomorrow. 我 I, 刚 is like just, and then 收到. I think this is like received, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. 一家, I think this is a quantity, like one, right?
Yeah, and 家 is the quantity word for places like company.
Okay.
Or shops.
Okay. And then 在 is like at or from, right? And then Shanghai is, of course, Shanghai. De, so Shanghai's. And then 公司, I think that's company.
公司.
公司. And then fa, I think that's send.
Yes.
And then lai is like
coming from.
And then de, 邮件. I think this is a new one for me. 邮件, is that email?
Yeah. 邮件 actually traditionally is just mail.
Okay.
The physical paper mail. But now most people
don't receive physical paper mail. Yeah.
So when people saying 邮件, it's mostly email.
Okay. So 让我, so allow. I think 让 is allow.
Or let or ask.
Okay.
Ask me too.
And then was I 后天, I think that's the day after tomorrow.
Yes, 后天.
And then 去 is go, and then 面试 is interview.
Exactly. And then the next sentence is 恭喜，快点订机票吧，要不赶不及了。
So this is congratulations. Book your flight now so you can make it on time. So 恭喜, I think this is 恭喜发财.
Yeah, exactly. 恭喜发财.
Okay. This is like a congratulatory expression, right?
Exactly. And 恭喜发财 is the one that's, I would say, specifically used around Chinese New Year.
Right.
Hope you have a good fortune. 恭喜发财.
All right. So 快点, I think this is normally always used for hurry up. Yeah?
Exactly.
Okay. And then 订, is this so 订机票?
Well, 订
Ding means to book, right?
Yeah, 订 is the fourth term. 订机票.
Okay, so 订, I think that's book.
Mm-hmm.
And then 机票, every time I see the word, the phrase, the sound 票, I think that's always ticket, right?
Some kind of a ticket, yeah.
Yeah.
And 机 here is the airplane, so it's a flight ticket.
Okay. So 订机票吧. So 吧 is normally always there when you're encouraging someone to do something.
Exactly.
要不 is, I think this is otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And then 赶不及了. So 赶不及, I think this is make it on time or won't make it on time, right?
Yes, 赶不及了.
So how do you say make it on time?
赶得及.
赶得及.
Or 来得及.
来得及.
赶不及 is you won't make it on time. Or 来不及 as well.
Okay.
来得及 is like, I still have time. I'm gonna make it. Don't worry. Or 来不及了 is like, you need to hurry up. Otherwise, you won't be able to make it.
Okay.
And then 邮件里说我可以参加远程面试，他们到时候给我发送线上会议链接。
So all of that means they say I can do the interview remotely. They will send me an online conference link. So 邮件, I think this is email.
Yes.
li shuo. So I know shuo means says, but what is the li here?
邮件里 meaning in the email.
So the li implies in, huh?
Yes. In the email it says.
Okay. 我可以 is I can. And 参加, I think this is meet or
Like join or participate.
Okay. And then 远程面试. So 远程, this is like long distance. And then 面试 is the interview.
Yes.
So remote interview.
Yeah.
他们 is they. 到时候, I think this is this is a time reference, right? By the time?
By the time or in due course, when that time arrived, 到时候.
给我 is give me. And then 发送, I think that's send. And then 线上 线上, I think this is online.
Yes.
And then 会议连接. 会议, I think that's meeting.
Yes.
And then the 连接 is a link or a website, right?
A link to the website.
Okay.
There's always 链接.
Okay, cool.
And then 那还挺人性化的。我之前看到一篇关于远程面试的注意事项，我等会发给你。
So that's pretty considerate. I read an article about tips for remote interviews earlier. I'll send it to you. Sounds like this person's really hoping that this person gets a job.
In Shanghai.
Yeah. So 那 is then, and then 还挺人性. So this 还挺 or 挺人性, I think this is like 挺 is quite.
Yes.
Yeah. And then 人性化, I think that's maybe this is the considerate part, right?
Yeah, 人性化 can be meaning considerate, or sometimes it's like user-friendly or audience-friendly.
People-friendly, huh?
Or people-friendly, yes. Because 人性 is basically meaning humane.
Humane, okay.
And, 化的 is giving it the adjective quantity to that 人性 word.
Okay.
So 人性化的 is, giving a lot of thoughts to what people need.
Okay, so I can see why considerate works. All right. And then 我之前, so 我 is I, of course. And then 之前, I think this is before.
Yes.
看到, these two words together means saw, like in the past tense, right? And then 一篇, E is the quantity for one, and pian, I think this is related to like paper or
article. One piece.
Or one piece, okay. 关于, I think this 关于 is like about.
Yes.
And then again, 远程面试, that this is remote interviews. 的注意事项. So 注意 is like maybe tips or
注意 is like notice.
Notes.
Yeah, notes. And 事项 is items. So it's basically meaning notes. Some notes for 远程面试.
Okay. So 我等会. So is this like 等会 is like wait a while or
later 等会儿.
Oh, 一会儿.
Yeah.
Could
yeah,
that work
can
too?
Also work here.
Okay. So and then 发给你. So 发 is like send, and then 给 is normally like give, and then 你 is you. So it seems like this is saying like I'll send it to you or I'll give it to you.
Yes, and the 给 here I think doesn't mean gave, but the direction of the action 发.
Oh, so it's
I'll
the preposition.
Send it to you. Yes.
Interesting.
It's a
Okay.
preposition. What do you feel about the dialogue? Are you confident to give it a try?
To give it a try, since I have the script in front of me, then sure, why not? 我刚收到一家在上海的公司发来的邮件，让我后天去面试。
恭喜，快点订机票吧，要不赶不及了。
邮件里说我可以参加远程面试，他们到时候给我发送线上会议链接。
那还挺人性化的。我之前看到一篇关于远程面试的注意事项，我等会儿发给你。You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Feifei, and Tony. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. And for more fun Chinese learning, you can also follow us on Facebook by searching Learn Chinese to watch many fun videos and live streams. And coming up next, let's learn more about 远程面试 remote interviews. And probably there are some useful tips. Don't go away so you'll take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Feifei, joined by Tony Reed. And And previously, we just went through a dialogue talking about going to an interview in Shanghai. And I think in that dialogue, there are one word is quite interesting, which is 要不.
要不, I think that meant otherwise.
Exactly. 要不 meaning otherwise. It's actually a shorter form for 要不然.
要不然.
Yeah, but in colloquial Chinese, you can just shorten it as 要不.
要不.
Yes. And we can have a lot of practice around this word. For example, 你先吃吧，要不饭就凉了.
I know we're talking about food here. All right, so can you say that one more time?
你先吃吧，要不饭就凉了.
Okay, so you should eat the food, otherwise it'll get cold.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. So you can see that here, 要不 is used to give you a choice. It's either or choice.
So back to the sentence, it says 你先吃吧. So the 先, is this a shorter form of 现在?
No, that's 现在. That's fourth tone. And 先 is the first tone and meaning first. You can go first. 先.
Okay, got it. You should eat first. And then 要不然 or 要不饭, and this is the food, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then 凉 is the cold. All right, let's try another one.
Or 打车吧，要不会迟到的.
Okay, so 打车, this is normally like a car or like a taxi. Or...
Yeah, 打车 is get a taxi.
Okay, the da is this like kind of like take.
Yeah.
And then the 车 is a car.
A car, yeah.
Okay.
In English, you will say hail a cab.
Yeah.
But in Chinese, we will say 打. And by 打车, even though we didn't have the taxi 出租车 word in it, but when people are saying 打车, we would know that means take a taxi.
Okay. So 打车吧, and again, 吧 means to encourage someone to do something.
Yeah.
要不会迟到的, so 迟到, I think that's late.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, you'll be late.
And then 会 is will, yeah?
Yes. So, you can see both sentences. The 要不 is used as otherwise, that indicating if you didn't do so. Otherwise, you'll meet these or that consequences.
Can 要不 also be used as or? Because I feel like otherwise and or are almost similar.
It can also be used or, giving you different options. For example, 大家都有点累了，要不休息一会儿吧. It's sort of giving you a suggestion.
Yeah.
With the word 要不.
累, so this is someone's tired, right?
Yeah. So why not? Or how about taking a break?
Okay, say that again one more time.
大家都有点累了，要不休息一会儿吧.
Oh, okay. 休息 is the rest. And then 一会儿, is this later?
休息一会儿, 一会儿 is like for a while.
Oh, for a while. Oh. 一会儿见, this is later.
Later.
I'll see you later. Okay. That's where I've heard this term from. Okay, got it. So 大家都有点, this is this a little?
Yeah, a little.
Okay. 大家都有点累了. Okay, got it.
Or the simpler example for using 要不 as a suggestion is like when you are going out to eat with a friend. You are not really sure what to eat. And, in English, you can give out suggestions as what about Chinese? What about Japanese? And then in Chinese, you can say 要不吃中餐？要不吃日料？ You can just use this 要不 as a way of I'm giving you a suggestion here.
Okay. 要不吃中
餐.
中餐.
That's Chinese food.
Okay. And then you just repeat that same structure for a different so
suggestion.
要不吃 say Thai food.
泰餐.
泰餐.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
So yeah, so you can. It's like, what about? How about in English?
Okay. Or how do you say in one sentence? Like, do you want Thai or Chinese?
你想吃中餐还是泰餐？
还是？
还是。
So this is or. Okay.
But that's, you are just giving two options here. It's like you're asking the other person to pick.
Yeah, one
you
of
want
these
a Chinese
two.
or Thai?
No other ones are gonna work here.
Yeah, but 要不 is like, I don't really have anything in mind. So probably Chinese, probably Thai. We are not sure. We can also, suggesting something else as well.
Okay.
So that's the useful word 要不 here. And also coming back to interviews, 面试. And I think we can, as experienced workers, both of us, there are probably, some useful tips, some notes, some 注意事项 that we can offer for our listeners. What would you say is the most important part of going to an interview?
For me, I think it's when you sit down and you talk to them, you should speak as if you've already got the job.
Ah, you mean confidence, to have the confidence.
Yes.
自信.
What is it?
自信.
自信. Yeah, it's good to have confidence, because if you're really squirrely when you go there, if it depends on the role. If it's a role where they just want you to take orders and do whatever they tell you to do, being squirrely might actually be a good thing, because it shows that, okay, this person's very fearful, and whatever we tell them to do, they will do it. But if it's something where you need to be, innovative, and you need to be a people person, if you need to display some form of leadership, and you're really
sometimes need to be a little aggressive even, to show that you can have the say in the office.
I wouldn't use the term aggressive. I would say assertive. I think assertion is good because it shows that you can communicate.
Yes.
And, that's one of your strengths. So I think it depends on what you're going for. But yeah, for most roles that I've interviewed for, it's good to speak as if, you have the role, or that your skills are something that many organizations can benefit from.
Like you can't live without me.
Yeah.
You definitely need me.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but just, when you go into the interview and you put your best foot forward, and it's not like when you're desperate for a role, it's almost like they can sense it. That you have nothing left and you're putting all of your eggs in their basket. But if you have a skill or something that you advertise that that many companies can benefit from, it's their loss if they do not go with you. So it's like, it's almost, I don't want to say be arrogant, but it's good to go to an interview and feel like, if you accept me, great. If not, that's okay too, because what I have to offer any company would be, would benefit from.
Exactly. It's like, I think for me, would be like you are sort of speaking equally with the employers.
Right.
Don't act as if, you are going to work under them.
Right.
Yeah, to make them feel like you are
so superior to you.
Yeah. So that we'll come back to, being confident and being assertive as well, which is 自信.
自信.
Or sometimes you also need to act active, especially when you are, saying about your visions for this job. You definitely want to have especially for employers, they want to hear that you have plans, long-term plans for this job. You're not just coming here for a year and then leave, treat them as a stepping stone. But so you want to express your vision, your plan, and what you think can be done when you are in this job. So you also want to have this 主动性.
主动性.
主动性, yes. To say that, I have plans, and I have a lot of plans. I have visions. I want to, stay here and contribute. not just working as a worker who follows the orders of the leaders. You want to take that leadership, I would say, in your role at least.
Right.
And another important thing for me, I would say, is the attire.
Attire.
Yeah, the 衣着.
衣着.
It's like you want to look clean, appropriate. You don't want to be underdressed or overdressed for the job. I know, I'm not sure, maybe sometimes being a little overdressed won't be a bad thing. Because you can show that I really care about this job.
Yeah.
And I want to look the best. And that's why I put up this full formal suit. But being underdressed is definitely a no-no.
Yeah, it kind of shows that you're not taking it very serious, or that's your personality. Maybe you're just someone who doesn't feel the need to dress up in it, depending on the role.
Exactly. If you are applying for a creative job, like an arts-related role in the company, you can show your artsy side, which helps with the creativity.
Again, it's a statement. You're selling your first impression, and I think it's really hard to counter that first impression. Once people look at you for the first few minutes and they have an impression of you, it's hard to change it.
Yeah, the first impression. Basically, having interviews is like portraying yourself really well in a first impression scenario.
Right.
It's 第一印象 in Chinese.
第一印象.
Yeah, 第一 first impression, 印象. So 第一印象 is really, really, really important.
Yeah,
for
it
people.
is.
Yeah, it can be a struggle for some of us who doesn't really always have a really good first impressions to people.
That's true. And if you're really anxious and you don't have a lot of experience, and I think that confidence comes from experience, right? So a lot of the college grads who are just coming into the workforce, they don't have a lot of confidence to draw from because they don't have a lot of experience, and so it could be kind of a challenge. Exactly. But I think a lot of the companies are aware of that, and they know that again, they want somebody that can follow orders. And so sometimes these qualities, not being too confident in the beginning, it could actually work against you because it's like, wow, this guy has no work experience, but he seems like he speaks like he should be sitting in my chair, so that might not be a really good thing either, depending on what they're looking for.
Exactly. And also in the beginning of the episode, you mentioned there are some downsides with remote interviews, interviews online, 远程面试. And sometimes can add pressure for the interviewees.
Sure.
Because
I can think of one right now. And the vital thing that you need to have a successful interview is internet. Right? So if you're in a place that famously doesn't have good internet, it could cause you a lot of stress. And if you go to another place, maybe a cafe or something, then you have the noise, the ambiance, people walking around behind you. So I think having stable internet can be a really big issue.
Yeah, it may not say a lot about yourself, but definitely affects the first impression part. For the companies, it doesn't really mean that you're a bad person, but
it's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, it's like a small thing in the interview. It doesn't make the final call, but definitely affects.
No, it does make the final call, actually. If they can't talk to you, then they're not going to hire you.
But, my first remote interview happened around 7-8 years or 10 years ago, and I got stood up. I wait online for an hour, and I was like, did I count because the employer is based in a different country, and we have different time zones. I was thinking, did I make the counts right? Is that my fault?
No, they hired somebody else and they just didn't tell you.
Yeah, it's just so mean. That's my first remote interview, and I didn't have very good experiences out of it.
That's hilarious. Normally it's the other way around, but for a company to do that, that's not very professional. They could have at least sent you a 邮件.
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't get into that company.
It's good for you, actually. It just lets you know what other games they have in store for you once you start working there.
Exactly. For our listeners out there, for interviews, for 面试, you should remember you are also the one to make the choice. Keep an eye on what the company is about. Their cultures and the way they do things is also important if you want to build a career out of this industry.
Yes.
You don't want to start with the companies who stood up interviewees.
Oh, she's... forgive Fei, guys. She's, venting a little bit on the show, but I think there's a lot of truth to what she's saying.
And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Fei with Tony Reid here in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can listen to the show and read the script there.
Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and much more. Just search for Takeaway Chinese, and don't forget to leave your comments, questions, and ratings.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
再见。